Hello, everyone. Welcome to With Heart and Soul podcast. You're listening to your hosts, David and Jacky. Hi, David.
Hey,
Good evening. How are you on this fine Sunday?
yes, good evening. Oh man, I'm starting to unwind. This week has been a good unwinding week for me. Well, this not this week, this weekend, because this week has been very busy. Definitely been traveling. Um, I think I was working on Tuesday, but it was in Atlanta, so I didn't have to travel too much. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I went to Louisiana. And Friday, I came back home Thursday night, and I flew Friday early morning. Actually, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning to Mississippi, and then I flew back. And then this Thursday was me and my wife's 5 years together, not married, but 5 years in actual relationship. So I was like, I gotta plan something. So I was like, let's. Funny enough, our first ever date, quote unquote, was to the movies. So it's funny, like every year we're together, like during that time period, we always go to the movies. So we went to the movies to watch Eternals, because I'm a nerd and it's Marvel. So and then we went out after that late night to like a lounge place, but they served like Caribbean, Haitian type food. And they had a DJ there. It was packed and it was great. It was a great time. And Saturday, I was able to actually just relax and stay home, and we just watched Netflix and chilled. Just Netflix and chill. And here we are Sunday. How has your week been?
Awesome. Your week sounds very busy, and we were just talking about how we've barely been able to talk to each other lately
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you've been traveling for work so much, and that sounds exhausting.
Mhm.
But yeah, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so happy for you, and I think that's adorable that you keep the tradition alive and go to the movies every anniversary.
Yeah, I got to, because you gotta, you've been in a relationship for a while. I've been in a relationship for a while, and if you keep doing the same boring things, it's gonna make the relationship boring. So yes, we go to the movies, but I try to add like a extra element to it. Like, so we went to that lounge, and she had a good time. She really enjoyed it. So um, try to keep it strong. Do my part. I'll put it that way.
Adorable. She's lucky to have you.
Oh, I do appreciate that. Thank you.
So yeah, my week was super busy because on Thursday, my t-shirt business, See Where We Land, had an event at a local bar here. It's called McCall's. So I believe I spent most of the week getting ready for that. I could barely remember the week. It was so busy, and my actual job has been busy too since the year is ending, and a lot of companies make the most of their money towards the end of the year. So
Right.
I've been super busy with that. And then I went to my second concert ever this weekend to see a group called Surfaces. It's kind of like pop vibes,
Mm-hmm.
like positive music. And so I went there in Philly last was it last night? Yeah, last night was Saturday. I feel like my Saturday was like three separate days because I did so much on Saturday. Um
Three
so
different versions of you.
yeah, literally. So I literally just walked in the door. I just got back from Philly, but I had a great time there. I had vegan food, which was really good. Um,
Hmm.
and we met up with a friend there, and I had beer. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, now I'm winding down too, just like you. My kids are coming home at 6 tonight, so I'm excited for that. And my week will be more steady, stable, should I say, since I'll be being a mom, so I can't be hopping and bopping all over town.
You can't be in the streets as
I
much as you.
can't be this week. Next week I can resume, but for now, gotta lay low.
Yes. Now, something I want to figure out. You said you only been to two concerts in your life. Like,
Mhm.
so what was the first one?
The first one was the Whalers by Bob
Oh,
Marley.
yeah.
I went there this summer. It was outside and it was so cute. Loved it.
Mhm.
Loved it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess since Allentown is like a smaller city, you don't have that much concerts there. Is that correct? Or
Honestly, I'm not sure. We do have the PPNL Center, which is downtown, and it's like a large ice hockey rink, I believe, but they use
Mhm.
it for other things.
Yeah.
The reason why I haven't been to concerts is because I just been living under a rock. Like
Um,
I think it was because of like of the nature of my relationship and how it was like abusive. I think that my mind was all caught up in that and not in like enjoying life. So for me, a lot of the things I do, it's my first time. And everybody's always just like, "Oh, you never done this, you never done that, you never heard of this." And I'm like, "No." Like I was literally under a rock. So I'm just starting to live life.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm glad Jacky is getting you underneath the rock. Well, getting you out of the rock,
Yeah.
underneath from the rock.
Yes,
And
she
now
really
you're
is.
able to like, because I know she's like very outgoing. Like she does a lot of outgoing stuff.
Mhm.
So I know she's bringing you along to all these events, and I'm happy about it.
Thank you. Yeah, she's definitely bringing me out of my shell. She's very, very social, and I try to like match her energy so I'm not sitting there being all quiet and awkward. So I do my best to like come out of my shell and like break through like the social anxiety. So
Hmm.
that we can have a good time together as a couple. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really happy about that. And big cheers to both of us for allowing ourselves to unwind and get a little bit of self-care before we get back into it again on Monday.
Yeah, back to the grind.
Yeah, exactly. So today's topic is not spicy. We promise you it's not spicy as last week, but it is a powerful one, and it's very eye-opening if you've never actually worked on getting there or have met someone who is there, and that's emotional intelligence. Now, I know we talked a little bit before the podcast that you did have some definitions for us. You did some homework.
I did do some homework because I feel like I know what emotional intelligence is, but it's not easy for me to tell other people what it is. So the following definition was found on Google. So emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions.
Mm.
Would you agree with that definition?
I do, and I feel like I'm a big advocate for emotional intelligence, especially like with clients that I work with and just people I talk to, like friends, family members, whoever it is, because there's a difference between someone that says you're emotional, and then there's a difference between someone who has emotional intelligence. The person that I see as emotional is that whatever happens to them, like throughout the day or in their lives, it affects them and they tend to sway to that situation. Whereas someone who's emotionally intelligent is able to say, okay, this happened to me, but I'm not going to let it affect who I am as a person. What basically I see it as like someone who's able to take bits and pieces of what happened to them to make them better or to learn from it. Whereas someone who has something that happens to them, they allow it to change them completely or affect them completely. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Is that the saying? I'm trying to be cool with sayings.
That is the saying. So you're cool at this moment.
You are on point.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I actually was able to look up on Google the pillars of emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
So I'm going to share those as well because we're really just going to try to break this down for you guys because I don't believe that a lot of people are aware about emotional intelligence. Like we
Right.
all have emotions.
Mhm.
But that does not mean that we're all fully aware of them.
Yeah.
So, of course, my phone just locked. Hold up. Okay. So, here are the pillars: self awareness,
Mhm.
self regulation,
Mhm.
self motivation, empathy, social awareness, and operating with integrity.
Mhm. Mhm. Those are all powerful pillars, and if anybody who is like listening or watching us, those are things that we have to learn, because I don't think we're born with emotional intelligence. I think, for at least me, in my opinion, I feel like we're born with emotions, which is fine, but the power to take yourself to the next level emotionally, I think that takes a lot of growth and a lot of self awareness and realization of where do I want to be as far as my mental aspect, and it gets hard because for example, for me to get to the point without, I would say that I'm emotionally intelligent or I'm aware of my emotions. It took me a long time because, as we talked about in the previous episode, that I was a robot. I felt like I had to stay positive all the time. I had to pretend like everything was good when I know it wasn't. And I was stunting my emotional intelligence. I was preventing myself from being mature emotionally. And it wasn't until I realized that, hey, I can feel the way I want to feel. I can feel the feels, as you said before. um, and I think a lot of people, especially men, and we'll break it down between men and women, but especially men, it's hard for us in our society to act like we are emotional beings because we're taught, especially me and me both growing up in New York, it's New York City, it's kind of like more gritty. So it's like you can't show emotion. You have to be hard. You have to be rough. You have to show that, no one can mess with you. But when you get to a certain level in your life and as an adult, you have to realize that, hey, being a person that knows how to work through their emotions, it shows you maturity. And I think that's the biggest thing about it. So at least that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, for sure. And for the example I like to use is children are emotionally immature, and I treat my kids as such.
Mhm.
So when I see them get all bent out of shape over the smallest thing, I don't use reprimanding for things like that because they do not know how to self-regulate. Children
Yeah.
are naturally very jealous. They naturally have temper tantrums. They naturally let their anger take over. So they may throw a shoe. They might punch the wall, and
Mhm.
those are things that you learn as you get older. But for me specifically as a child, I got in trouble for not being emotionally intelligent. And I think a
Wow.
lot of us did,
Mhm.
because if we lost our temper, then our parents would probably hit us
Mhm.
back in that time. And that's definitely how I was raised.
Yeah.
And so that ended up making me become an adult that didn't express her emotions. Like I just allowed whatever was going on around me to just happen, because that is what you're teaching children when you're not allowing them to express their emotions. You need to teach them.
Mhm.
So now that we're adults, it's our responsibility to be emotionally mature. One of my favorite pillars of emotional intelligence is empathy. Empathy is literally my favorite word. Empathy is literally me. So, to be empathetic is to feel the emotions of another person,
Mhm.
which is so important for you to do in with everything in this life, from a political standpoint to your relationships to parenthood. If you don't take the time to put yourself in someone else's shoes, you're simply just not going to understand, and therefore you cannot fully be there for someone. You
Mhm.
fully not understand what is right in whatever situation is before you, because you are not taking on that person's emotions.
Mhm.
You need to try to put yourself in someone's shoes. That way you can fully understand what is happening.
That was fire. That was fire. That was
And
fire.
I don't even
Felt
know
it.
where that came from.
It came from you because you're emotionally intelligent. But I completely agree. And I love that aspect you said about empathy, because it's like, if you can't put yourself in other person's shoes, in the other person's shoes,
Mhm,
you're stopping yourself from growing, because we don't know everything.
mhm,
We're not perfect, and we learn from each other. That's why another reason why it's so powerful to be in a relationship is because you're constantly learning the other person's perspective, because they were raised differently, they lived in a different world, different environment, raised by different people, different friends, and it's like you're getting knowledge from them. So if you're at a point in your life that you're not empathetic, I think that's the biggest thing that's going to hurt you from growing emotionally. And I had a point about, oh, so let me ask you this question. What would you say is the best thing to do when you're with someone that, you start a relationship, you thought it was cool, but you
mhm.
realize that they are not emotionally intelligent, or as you said, they're emotionally immature? What do you do in those situations, or have you experienced that?
Ugh, I actually have. Like, I feel like you're
Mhm.
coming at me because you know that I've been struggling with it. I do feel like I struggle with that within my own relationship. Like, I feel like I've done the work, the healing work, and getting in touch with my emotions and everything like that. And my fiance, I don't feel like she has done that, which this isn't like to throw any shade at her, because not everyone has done the work.
Mhm.
And so it's been hard for me to come to terms with the fact that she hasn't, and she may never do so. And I've been trying to figure out, like, is it necessary or is it not? Um, but I think recently we came to a point in our relationship where it was becoming very evident that, like, she had not done this work that I feel is so necessary for a relationship to work. Um,
Mhm.
like, I feel like she could have definitely been working on her empathy and on compromising. And also, I think that a lot of things from her previous relationship were coming into this relationship. And so I don't know if you're like aware of this, but I think that relationships come to like a power struggle. And I read on
Yeah.
Google that it happens like around the 3 year mark.
Mhm.
So that was kind of coincidental when my relationship was starting to come to a point where I was just like, okay, we're not vibing the way we used to. Like, what's really going on? Which I'm sure you know, we were struggling because I talked with you a lot about it.
Mhm.
Um, so I ended up, I don't know how, Google's amazing. Okay, guys, Google everything.
Shout out to Google.
Google. So I Googled something, and I don't know, I ended up finding things about power struggle. And a power struggle in a relationship is when each person in the relationship is starting to like settle down within the relationship. So it comes to a point where your past trauma is starting to come into the relationship. Those things
Mhm.
you haven't healed are starting to surface.
Mhm.
Um, so I basically told her, like, we need to either go to couples therapy, or you need to go to like to your own therapy so you can work your issues out, because I already go to therapy. So we both
Yeah.
need to be working on ourselves, or this isn't going to work. Like, I feel like you got to a point where you stopped growing, like
Mhm.
you stopped working on yourself, and I need you to continue to do that. We did not end up going to therapy because that's not the route she wanted to go on, but she
Yeah.
has been working on her empathy a lot, and she's been working on apologizing too, because for me, I need to hear that someone is sorry, and not just sorry for no reason. I need to hear that they're sorry because they understand. So it all just comes down to empathy. I need her to be more empathetic. So while we can't force our partner to do, the healing work and get in touch with their emotions and stuff like that, you can say, like, I require these certain things so that we can stay in this relationship. And I believe if your partner is really committed to you, then they will do those things. They will work on those particular things, but you really need to break it down for them. You can't just be like, hey, be more empathetic. You got to like break it down, like bullet points.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's powerful in it. And as you were talking, it made me think about like one of the pillars that really speaks to me the most, and that was self-awareness. Because I'm a person that's always thinking, I'm constantly thinking about stuff. I I realize that just because I'm thinking it doesn't mean I'm expressing it. And that was very important, especially in our relationship, because my wife, she's a strong woman, very strong woman, and she's very vocal about how she feels, and she expresses herself if she doesn't like something. But for me, that's kind of a struggle. I'll say it's a struggle because I was a quiet kid. I wasn't the person that was very vocal about how I felt. And back to what I was saying about being a robot. And I had to realize that to be self-aware, I have to be aware of my feelings and expressing them. So when we start having conflicts and beginning our relationship, and when we did have to hit that 3 year mark, as you said, I think that's a powerful time. It's like, okay, she was more of a dominant, like she was expressing like, oh, I want this to be this, I want this to be that. And I realized that, okay, if I want this relationship to work, I have to express myself too. What do I want? How do I want things to go in our relationship? Not to say that I want it to be this is my way or the highway type of aspect, but it's like I have to express how I feel as well. So now I still get like a tingly feeling in a sense, like, okay, okay, Dave, you got to say something about this. And so I was like, okay, I don't like when you do this, or I feel like that I hear you and I understand, because we did do couples therapy, both with a therapist, and then we also did it with my pastor from church. So and the one thing is that what we learned through therapy is that not to talk over each other,
Mhm.
because we're both people who have big expressions about what they feel, and our personalities are very different. So it's like, okay, I have to be more vocal with saying, I don't like when you do this. I didn't like when you said this. I didn't appreciate how you did this without telling me, or you're doing this without adding me into the equation, because we had a recent discussion about how she wanted to do something, and I was like, well, you didn't ask my input. And it's like, we're working as a team. A relationship is a team. We're doing teamwork, and you can't just make a decision for the team without expressing it to the team. So I think being self-aware is very, very important and essential for emotional intelligence, because it allows yourself to gain the confidence that you need to continue to grow in this journey of emotional intelligence. Because just like healing, just like self-love, just like self-care, it's a never-ending journey. And
Right.
you have to be aware that, okay, yes, I've got to this point, or yes, I'm starting off fresh and brand new. You have to keep realizing and being self-aware. Can I do better? Can I express myself better? Can I tap into my feelings better and emotions better? And this is for guys too, and women, because contrary to beliefs, men and women have emotions as well. Men have emotions as well, guys. If you're listening, men, you have emotions. Just because you push them to the side doesn't mean that you don't have them. You do have them. We all get hurt. We all get sad. We all get depressed. We all feel lonely, but we express them differently. But I think the biggest thing now is that we have to be more vocal. That way it boosts our emotional intelligence.
Yes, yes, so good. I wanted to like give you a round of applause. That's interesting because I do think that that was part of my issue with Jacky too. Like I'm a very vocal person too. Like I will say how I feel, I will express it at all times, but she literally never says anything. And I just got to the point where I'm like, you say nothing. Like there's no way that I'm perfect.
Yeah.
There's no trust me, there's no way that I'm perfect. Like you need to start telling me like what bothers you. Like don't she would do this thing where she would wait until I tell her something I had an issue with that occurred that particular day. And she'll be like, well, last week you blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no, no, no. Last week already done passed. Like you should have told me last week. But she used the time in which I was being open and vulnerable for her to be open and vulnerable. And the problem with that is that we can no longer focus on the particular problem because now there's two problems.
Yeah.
So you need to be self-aware enough to know that your feelings are hurt. You need to understand why they're hurt so that way you can express them correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, I agree.
So I want to like break down the pillars as well because I wrote like some bullet points for each pillar.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
So for self-awareness, you have to name your emotion, which is basically what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
What is it that I'm feeling? Okay. Am I sad? Am I jealous? Am I insecure? Am I feeling left out? What is it that I'm feeling?
Yeah.
The answer cannot be anger. Okay. Let me tell you that right now. It can't be anger because anger is a surface emotion. Anger comes from something else.
Yeah.
And that was a tough one for me because anger was my fave, especially after being in an abusive relationship. Everything was anger. Everything was expressed in anger and everything would make me lose my cool. And then I started to realize exactly what I just shared with you guys. Anger has an underlying emotion. So I started to realize it was different things. It's jealousy. It's I feel left out. It's I don't feel loved. I didn't feel included. I don't feel like you asked me what I wanted. So yes, name your emotion.
You know what's so
sorry.
What's so funny about that is that we're complete opposites when it comes to anger, because I would never show that I'm angry. And I literally, and I agree with you, anger is a secondary emotion. Like there's always an underlying emotion that causes the anger. But when I was doing coaching with my coach, when I first started coaching, he said, it's okay to express your anger. It's not that you're putting your anger towards something, but it's okay to express it. Say, hey, I'm feeling this way. And for me, being someone that's not vocal, that wasn't vocal with their emotions, and just like what you're saying, it's okay to express what you're feeling. Don't keep it inside. Don't bottle it up. If you see your partner, your significant other doing that, say, hey, as you said, I think sometimes we have to give them the space to say, to let them know that express how you feel. Don't keep it aside. Don't wait till we get to an argument and you bring it up the following the week previously that it happened or after it happened. express it that day, because at least I know exactly why you're upset, instead of you saying, oh, I'm mad because of this, but I'm also mad because of 2, 3 things that happened a month ago. Which argument are we tackling now? Are we tackling the issue that you have today, last week, the week before, the one last month? And now it's adding more issues in your relationship where you could have addressed that one simple issue and it kept moving. So
That's right. That's completely right. That's what was happening in my relationship, and it was making it crumble and fall apart. And I'm just like, no, 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 this can't continue to be like this. Like, I need you to come to me when something happens, because I'm gonna forget what I did. And then I'm gonna tell you, no, that didn't happen. And it probably did, but I forgot because it was just a Tuesday for me. And for you, your feelings were hurt. So important to be vocal. But yeah, okay. So another bullet point for self-awareness is to calm yourself down. So just like we're sharing with you guys to name your emotion and express it, you also need to calm yourself down, because when you're coming at someone all crazy, they're not going to listen to you. So we need to learn how to calm ourselves down. And one thing that my therapist taught me to calm myself down is to rub my own chest, which I do a lot when I'm anxious, because I feel like it's a little inconspicuous. So I can just go like this and nobody thinks anything of it. But also, she told me that when you're a child, I'm not even gonna lie, my mom didn't comfort me, but whatever your mom would have done to comfort you, you can do for yourself. Whether it's like pat your own back, like you can just go like this, or if it was your mom hold your hand, you can go like this and hold your own hand. But you need to calm yourself down, because you're a grown adult, and you're responsible for your actions. You're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your own emotions. No one else. No one else. It's you and you. All right. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. That was perfect. I couldn't say anything else. You killed it. So
killing it today. All right. So for self-regulation, wait, no, that was self-regulation, what I was just saying, like calm yourself down. You also need to be aware of when you've been hurtful or wrong. That is very important for emotional intelligence, knowing when you've been hurtful or wrong. If someone comes to you and says you've done something hurtful or wrong, you don't get to tell them that you didn't. You don't get to tell someone that you did not hurt them. So this is when you need to take on empathy, and you also need to bring in your self-awareness and just think like, could I have done something better? Could I have communicated something better? So always just be aware of yourself and what it is you're doing.
I think the biggest thing about that is that you have to remember that just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you're perfect in a relationship. Just because you got to that point from, okay, I'm not single anymore, I found that person that's for me, you know, we're living our lives, we're happily in a relationship, does not mean that just because you got there, doesn't mean that you stop doing the work. You stop pretending, you stop acting like you're human. And I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people do in relationships, like, oh, once I'm in it, I can just relax. No, we're still working. We're still trying to be the best people we can be, but as a couple now. So I think that's the biggest thing. And something to always remember. I always try to remember that as well, because I can have days when I think I can do no wrong, but I can do wrong, and I do wrong all the time. And I have to go back and say, okay, I'm wrong. I apologize. Saying that you're wrong and understanding that you're wrong is very important as well.
Yes, it can go a long way. And like I said, for me, like I need to hear I'm sorry, because that makes me feel validated in my emotions, and I need validation. Like I need it. Like, tell me that you understand. Tell me that you know you hurt my feelings. I need that. So yeah, and I can't make my partner guess that I need that, and I didn't realize that, but I've had to literally tell her that. So now she does that every time, and that requires self-awareness on her behalf to understand that she had just been hurtful. And so now that's her first step. And her second step would be to communicate with me. I see that I have been hurtful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, true.
And it goes a long way. All right. So next, we've got motivation. And I love this one because I work out, you work out.
Yes.
I try to eat generally healthy, like 80 healthy, 20, do whatever the heck I want. It's all about balance.
It's balance.
balance. But I know a lot of people that like want to lead a healthy lifestyle and they want to work out. And I know people that have business endeavors that they want and things like that, but they just always say, I can't. So this is part of emotional intelligence. You need to be your own motivating factor because nobody's coming to get you out of bed and tell you to work out. Nobody's going to
Mhm.
cook your meals for you. No one's going to go to the grocery store and buy the right things. And no one's going to say, start your business.
Yes.
So you need to have the ability to work hard, diet if that's what you want to do, exercise if that's what you want to do. You
Yeah.
need to have the ability to commit to any goal all on your own, all
Hmm.
on your own.
Yeah. And one thing that I learned a long time ago is that you have to be, someone told me this, I can't remember who it was, but you have to be aware of what kind of person you are. Are you a self-motivator or you need somebody to motivate you? If you're a self-motivator, that basically means, just like me and you, we could wake up in the morning and go work out, no problem. But if you need someone to motivate you, go and get the help for it. Seek the help. Maybe a video that you need to listen to, or music that you need to listen to, or podcast like our podcast that you need to listen to, or you need to get a coach or a therapist. Get someone that you know is going to help you get that motivation. But as you said, motivation is within us all. We all have that power. And I like to push this with anyone. You have control over your life. You have the power to do anything that you want. The question is, where are you giving that power to? Are you letting someone else take your power, or are you using the power for yourself?
That's right. I do agree with that. And I didn't even think about that, about how you can seek help for motivation.
Yeah.
But that is putting the motivation piece on an external factor.
Mhm.
But like, don't put it on your partner. Don't put it on
Yeah.
a friend. Yes, there are professionals out there, and there are podcasts, and podcasts have changed my life. So whatever it is that helps you to be self motivated, you need to do it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah. Next, next is empathy, which we already talked about. I love empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes in order to understand humanity better. Um,
Hmm.
so I feel like I already went on about that one. Do you have anything to add in regards to empathy?
No. I think, as you said, remember that just because you're living your life the way you live it doesn't mean someone else is living that same life. You have to realize that, hey, maybe that person is going through something. And I think the biggest thing about that, especially with your partner, is that maybe they're not expressing everything that they want to express, or they're saying everything that they want to say. You have to put yourself in their shoes. Okay, I see them moving differently, or I see them saying things differently. I see them acting a little bit differently. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe I should ask. Maybe I should give them space. You have to be empathetic to a situation that you may not even know. But as I said, it's always good to ask first. That way you don't assume, and that way you're not hurting your relationship by pretending like everything's okay as well. So
Right. Empathy for me was difficult in my relationship because um, you get defensive when your partner shares how they feel. If your partner is telling you that you were hurtful, your ego right away wants to defend itself.
yeah,
And the empathy piece goes out the window. So each time your partner shares their feelings with you, they're trying to keep you in their life,
yeah,
and they're trying to set a boundary with you. And if each time you do that, you defend yourself instead of listening and being empathetic, you're pushing your partner away more and more each time. And that's not going to make your relationship work at all. And I think for my relationship, like we were both doing that. And um, I think it's just difficult because if you think someone's feelings are silly or stupid, or if you just hear what hurt your partner's feelings and you're like, that wouldn't hurt my feelings, so I don't give a shit.
yeah.
Like that's not gonna work. You gotta practice empathy even when you don't want to. And
True.
everything we're discussing here, you gotta do it even when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Sorry to tell ya.
Yeah, I agree. And remember that, listen to listen, don't listen to react. And that's what helped me, especially in our relationship, because there's something, as you said, there's something that your partner will say that you're like, that's not true, or that doesn't make any sense, or that's silly. But you can't react. Listen to what they're saying, because there may be something underlining of the thing that you don't agree with. It may be, even if they're lashing out, maybe they're really hurt, or maybe if they're expressing certain things that, okay, maybe there's something that affecting them that day that I just don't know. But if you listen to what they're saying, you could figure out certain things that they're saying without even saying it directly. So that's why the power of listening is very, very essential in relationships.
Very true. And what was I just gonna say? You have to listen to understand. That's what I wanted to say. You have to listen to understand. And even if you think a feeling is silly, that doesn't take away from the fact that you hurt your partner.
Yeah.
So you can defend yourself all day. You could be self-righteous all day, but you hurt your partner. So compassion is going out the window because all you care about is being right. So
Yeah.
relationships are not about being right. It's about understanding each other's feelings and practicing not thinking that any feelings are stupid. All feelings are valid. All right. So next we have social awareness, which is a really broad topic, but this was my summary. It's not from Google, it's from my own brain. I find social awareness to be the ability to pick good friends and partners based on their characteristics that you gather through interactions. So basically what I mean by that is just making genuine friendships and picking good partners based on what you know about them and not allowing your emotions to lead the way, and just being emotionally intelligent about what you expect out of a partner and making sure that you're picking a partner that doesn't exhibit any red flags.
Yeah.
And same with friends.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like it's two things that you got to remember. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to feel the vibes, whatever you want to feel. That's nothing wrong with that. But also you have to be logical in a sense as well. If you know that you're in your relationship or friendship with someone that's taking a lot of energy from you, or they're asking so much and they're not giving in return, you have to be aware of that. So feel your emotions. Okay, I know I'm being drained by this person. And then logically say, okay, does this person really need to be in my life? Have I addressed this with this person and he's still doing the same things? Am I constantly going through the same cycles? How can I break this cycle? So remember both sides of it all. It's okay to be emotional, but it's also okay to use your head. So
Yes, you got to be logical and emotional, which is an interesting balance to figure out, but
yes, it is.
life's tough. So yes, and also when it comes to social awareness, it can mean so many different things, and just like you said, which is what I was going to go into, is like when people are not reciprocating your energy, you need to be aware of that. Do not give people more than what they're giving to you.
Yeah.
And just be really intentional about the people that you keep close. Feel out the vibes, pay attention, don't let people walk all over you. Make sure you're being valued at all times.
Yeah, and I agree. And remember that it's okay to let go of certain relationships and friendships if it's not helping you grow. I think a lot of, especially for me, I had to learn it as well. It's like, oh, that's my friend. Yeah, that was your friend back in the day when things were great. But as you guys got older, as life changes and things happen, that person may not be right for you at your current stage or the place that you want to go. And that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to end something, and it's okay to say no when you know it's not right for you. So just like you don't want anyone to diminish your emotions and how you feel, don't diminish your own feelings and emotions for somebody else.
Ooh, saying no is another good one that I talk about all the time. But when someone says no to you, like to attend your event or something like that, your birthday, whatever, and you have like an emotional reaction to it or you take it personal, this is part of social awareness too. Your friends do not owe you their free time. They don't need to go to your event just because you invited them. And I don't think there's any reason to get like all bent out of shape. We're all adults, things come up, we have our own lives, and no one really owes you an excuse as to why they're not giving you their free time. Everybody is their own human, they got their own stuff going on. So you got to be aware of that and respect other people for who they are.
Yeah, true.
True. All right, last one is operating with integrity. So integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching.
Yeah.
What do you guys say about that?
That's a tough one for a lot of people, especially in the social media era and the landscape that we live in. And I mean by that is because it's so easy to create different accounts. It's so easy to live double lives. It's so easy to put masks on, act one way to certain people, act differently with other group of people. But have the integrity no matter who you're with. And I always tell this to myself is that I have to be who I am with every group of people that I meet, no matter who I meet, no matter what setting I'm in, no matter what situation I'm in. And if they don't accept me for who I am, at least I know that I have integrity, that it's okay for me to walk away from certain situation, because you shouldn't have to. And I mean, of course, society would tell you otherwise, but you shouldn't have to change who you are just to fit in with certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's easier said than done. And I know people listening or watching like, yeah, but you don't know my life. I have to act this way at work, and I have to act this way at home. I have to act this way with my relationship. I have to act this way with my kids. I get that. I get that. You have to be logical with certain situations. But what I'm talking about is having integrity with yourself, not other people. I'm talking about with yourself. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, always be true to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And the other aspect of that is being loyal in your relationships and in your friendships, not talking about people when they're not around. And that was a big thing for me, because growing up, like, my mother gossiped a lot. Like, she's just a gossiper. She loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was like a normal thing and something I always did. And as I started to become a young lady, it started to just cause problems all over the place. Like, I constantly just had drama in my life, and it just all leads back to gossip. And nowadays, I really don't want to be around others who gossip about people.
Yeah.
I really don't want to sit around and discuss others. There's a lot to talk about with people that doesn't involve discussing other people, so it's just completely unnecessary. I really don't like to discuss other people. That's not what I'm going to sit around and do, and I'm not interested in it, and I make that very clear. If there is someone around me that is, exhibiting that type of behavior, I remain true to myself and I just stay quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just about to say that as soon as you said that, it's okay to keep things to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you're hurt, not the emotional aspect, like your feelings that, someone did something to you. But if someone tell you something, you don't have to tell anybody else. Like, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill you. It's okay to keep to yourself. It's their business. If they're ready to share it, let them share it. And you'll be okay. Trust me, you'll save yourself a lot of stress if you do that.
You'll save yourself a lot of drama too. There's
Yeah.
literally no reason to discuss other people. Like, come on, we're all intelligent creatures. We can all just talk about other things that are uplifting. And also, if you find money on the floor, there's so many different ways to behave with integrity. So just always be true to yourself and be honest and be loyal. And as long as you're trying every single day, you will get there. And along with everything else we've discussed, you're not perfect and you're going to make mistakes, but try not to beat yourself up. I'm definitely not perfect in all of these things, and I do consider myself to be emotionally intelligent, but I make mistakes. 1000% I make mistakes. But you got to start from the top again. Be self-aware, see what the mistake was, and grow from it.
Yeah, I completely agree. As Jacky just said, if you mess up, own up to it. Hey, I made a mistake. Hey, you know what? I wasn't being emotionally intelligent at this moment. Hey, I was being petty, but it's okay. I learned from it, and I'm going to make sure I do better. And that's the best you can do for yourself and also for the people around you.
Yeah, for sure. It's a work in progress. So yeah, we got about like 7 minutes left. You text me the other day and asked me some questions about like our previous episode. So are
Yeah.
you okay with me sharing that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back to that. We haven't talked much, so it's not gonna take me too long to get back up there.
I mean, I know the questions if you want me to say them.
Fine, go ahead. I was gonna read your text.
No, you can read it. If you found it, you can read it. It's not a problem either.
Okay. So yeah, I think you listened to the episode again after we released it, and the episode we're referring to is Friends of the Opposite Sex episode.
Episode 3, yes.
Yeah. So if you listen to that one, then you know what we're talking about. But David texted me and said, I realized I should have asked you 2 questions during the episode. What makes you feel most men do not have good intentions? And do you consider me a nice guy and a kind guy, or just nice? Because you made a clear difference between the two. So yeah, I said my answer to the first question, which was regarding why do I feel most men do not have good intentions?
Mhm.
I just want to make that clear on the show too, because I'm not a man hater, I promise.
I don't know. Some fans might think otherwise.
I know. So what I said to David was, I feel most men do not have good intentions, probably because I was abused by a man. I was in an abusive relationship, and I never had a good, steady, stable, positive male figure in my life. My parents got divorced when I was 10. And even before that, when my dad lived in our home, like I wasn't really close to him or anything like that. So I don't have much to go off of.
Mhm.
Um, I do not have good experiences with men. Also, that okay, I'm not gonna say that. Okay, I guess I can. Wait, no, I can't. No, I can't.
Next question. Next question.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I can tell when men are being genuine or just have an attraction, and most of the time they're married or in a relationship, and they know I'm in a relationship, so that makes me feel like they're pigs. They never respect my relationship or their own.
Hmm.
So yeah. And for your second question, you are a nice guy and you are a kind guy. I feel that you're extremely genuine. I feel very comfortable around you. I feel not judged or lusted after. I feel very respected and I feel genuine friendship. I feel the reason you have many female friends is because you are in touch with your emotions and you are a confident man that doesn't need to chase after women for ego boosting reasons. You genuinely respect human beings. So that's my description of David, not just a nice guy, also a kind guy.
So just for context, the reason why I asked those questions because I was listening and I was like, "Dang, I don't want Jacky to sound like she's bashing men because I don't want it to be a trend. Like, okay, wow, like dang, she's going hard on guys. Like, but I wanted you to clarify your stance because as I said, there's nothing wrong with the way you feel, but I just wanted to make sure that other people don't feel that like, okay, maybe she's coming at me or maybe she's taking it personal with something or someone. So I just wanted to make sure that I understood and now our viewers and our listeners understand where her point of view is. And then the second question was, I was like, okay, I wanted to make sure the distinction, like, okay, is this something that I can be doing better as well? Because self-aware, try to be self-aware that, okay, am I just the nice guy or can I be kinder? Can I do things that are a little bit better? Especially since, we're friends and I value your friendship. And if you're seeing something in me that you don't like, or you think I should do better, I'm all for it. So it's actually funny because I actually did, I sent this like maybe a year or two ago to every single friend that I talked to. And I said, if you could list something that I could do better, let me know. And it's from a book that I read. I can't remember the book right now. If I remember, I'll let you know maybe next episode. But I think and the reason why the person said to do that is because you may think that you're living your life a certain way, but people around you may see you differently. And it's okay for you to understand their viewpoint as well. You may agree with it, you may not, but at least you know where they stand. So I think that's the biggest thing about it. So that's why I wanted to know. I love both answers. Both answers were great. They were amazing. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm open to changing my perspective on men, and I'm not just like, oh man, hate him right away. I just am hyper vigilant, and that's all.
Mhm.
But yeah. All right. Well, we have to end here because we're at time just about.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for listening. And if you have any thoughts, opinions, comments, or anything like that, as always, visit us on the With Heart and Soul Instagram. We'd love to hear from you guys and share any thoughts and opinions on the show.
Yes. Don't forget to watch this on YouTube with Heart and Soul Podcast. Listen to it on all podcast channels, wherever you listen to your podcast. It's on almost all of them. If it's not on the one that you listen to, let us know and we'll make sure it's on there. Don't forget to subscribe onto YouTube and follow us on our Instagram and see where we land. Check their Instagram out. Check their Instagram out. Colabcoaching, that's my coaching page, my relationship coaching page. Check my Instagram out. Watch my videos on YouTube. My website is yourcolabcoach.com. I'm on Facebook as well. And just send us a lot of love, a lot of feedback, a lot of hate. We all ready for it. We ready for it all. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.